Let's take a look at some additional attributes we can attach to our cues. I'm going to want to be in snapshot 1 for this. And now I'm going to type Q1 attributes, which is a soft key. This gives us several new soft key options. I'm going to say scene, and I need to give it a label. This is our first scene, so we're going to call it Act 1. If you look in your PSD, you'll see there's now a green bar across the screen right above Q1 with our label right there in the center, Act 1. So this is the beginning of a scene. We can also add an end to a scene. I'm going to close our CIA so we can see a little bit more. To give a scene end, we simply say Q10 attributes scene end, enter, and that puts another break right after that cue. We can save a step by saying Q11 through 14. We'll specify a range, attributes scene, and this is going to be Act 2. Since I specified the range of cues, it automatically puts the scene end at the end of that range. Let's do one more. Q15 through 17, attributes, scene, Act 3. I'll point out right now that Act 2 at the top of the screen has brackets around it. That's because 11.5 is not the first cue in that scene. We are still within that scene, but it's just indicating that we can no longer see the first cue in that scene. In addition to making our PSD a little more organized from a visual standpoint, we can also interact with these scenes. For our first example, we'll need to open our CIA, and we can say go to cue, scenes is the soft key, and in our CIA, we are given a list of all of our scenes in our show. From here, I could tap Act 2. It's going to post the first cue in that scene to the command line, and then I can press enter and go directly to the top of that scene without necessarily having to remember the cue number. I can also use scene ends when updating cues. For example, if I'd made a change and wanted to update Q5 through scene end, it will post the final cue number from that scene on my command line. I'm going to clear that out. To remove a scene, the syntax is Q11 attributes scene, press my label button to remove that text, and then enter. The syntax to remove a scene end is Q14 attributes scene end, enter. Scenes are also a type of direct select. To take a quick look at that, let's add a tab. We'll go to our direct select and choose scenes. Scenes in direct selects are self-terminating. So from here, I could say go to cue, touch Act 1, and it's going to terminate for me. As with all direct selects, if I didn't want that to terminate, I could hold Shift and press it. Another attribute we can attach to our cues are called notes. Let's go back to our PSD. Notes is more of a long form phrase that we can attach to a cue, similar to a label, but we have a lot more space and a couple of different ways to view them. Let's type Q11 attribute notes. And for this one, I want my board operator to know that this is where the band will improv for a bit while they're waiting for a quick change. And you'll see in our label column, we get a little plus sign there to show us we have a note. If I hover over that plus sign, I can view the note. There are a couple other ways we can view notes as well, which we will cover in our next section.